Hello, this is Mr. Mabry, and we are going to take some CER notes. So what you're going to need is your spiral notebook for science, and I would get a ruler out too and something to write with. So if you don't have those things, go get it, then come on back. All right, let's get started. The title of your notebook page is going to be CER Notes. Okay, you don't have to write claim evidence reasoning, but that is what CER stands for, if you are wondering. This video is being shot in the 2020-21 school year, and this is assignment number 1 for us. So in the top right-hand corner of your page, you also need to put a number 1 and circle it. If we're watching this video not in 2020-21, might be a different number. Now, let's go to this huge graphic organizer. Here's my advice for you. I would pause this video recording, I would get my ruler out, and I would totally copy this whole thing down. And I would use the color coding. So definition gets one set of colors, courtroom column gets another set, and then the what you do gets another set. So go ahead and pause this, copy it down, and then I'm going to talk to you all about it. Go for it. Okay, if you're here now, I'm assuming you've got it written down, and we can talk through each spot. Okay, here's what a claim is. The point of the claim is to answer the question of the prompt given to you. That's it. It's a straight up answer. So like if this was a courtroom, this is where the lawyer would either be saying my client is guilty or not guilty. In science class, claims are usually short and sweet and to the point. Sometimes they can be answered with a single word, but most often you're going to be writing a whole sentence out. Now, the evidence needs to back up your claim. In science class, this takes the form of either qualitative or quantitative data. If you don't know the difference between qualitative and quantitative, I would take your pen or pencil right now, and I would underline the letter N in quantitative. Quantitative data is anything having to do with numbers. Qualitative data is data that has to do with observations. Now, this data is in a courtroom what I would describe as the facts of the case. So when the lawyer says, my client wasn't guilty, and the judge is like, why wasn't he guilty? You'd say, well, the facts are this. He wasn't in the same city. He never had a grudge against this other person, and he has a solid alibi. And these are all the facts that lead me to say that he is not guilty. Now, in science class, we're not a fun crime drama on TV, so our facts of the case are either going to be graphs, data tables, observations from lab experiences, or they could be statistics. Now, reasoning is usually the hardest thing for students to wrap their head around because a lot of students think, well, what's the point of the reasoning? I've already told you the answer, and then I've given you evidence to back it up. So the best way that I have found to describe what reasoning is I need to know that you know how this evidence connects to your claim. The fancy way of saying this is it is an explanation for how evidence supports the claim. So often students tell me they really like this description right here. So you know when the lawyer doesn't just lay the facts out, they then stand in front of the jury and they try to sell it to them. So reasoning is a very persuasive thing. And so in science class, when we do our reasoning part of a CER, it usually takes the form of a paragraph and includes some vocabulary that I've asked you to share. So let's jump into some examples of what this could look like. So here's example number 1. Who is the nicest cyclone teacher? That is the prompt we're supposed to answer. So here's my claim. Miss Hart is the nicest cyclone teacher. Now if I go back, did I answer the question in a sentence? Yes, I did. My evidence? On the way to lunch, students talk about how cool Miss Hart is much more than about any other teacher. Let's see if that's good evidence. Was that a graph? No. Was that a data table? No. Was that an observation? Yes, it was. It didn't have to do with numbers, but it was qualitative data. So it's good evidence. Now my reasoning If students think you're cool, then it's likely because coolness as a middle school teacher has something to do with being kind and positive, knowing names, passing out candy, and being an all-around wonderful person, which means you're incredibly nice. So this is where I tried to connect my evidence back to my claim, and I underlined these words because I said over here, I will often tell you which vocab words you need to underline, so I'm pretending that these were my vocab words I needed. Let's jump to another example. What is the best thing to eat at lunch? Okay, so what am I supposed to do for claim? Oh yes, I have to answer the question in a sentence. Chicken nuggets are the best thing to eat at lunch. Now evidence, what do I have to do? Okay, graph, data table, and observation or statistic. Let's see. On days when chicken nuggets are served, the majority of students always pick chicken nuggets no matter what else is being served. Great. That isn't a graph, it isn't a data table, but it is an observation, so that's good evidence. What's my reasoning? Chicken nuggets contain the perfect blend of texture, protein, and seasoning, resulting in a superior lunch choice over whatever else is being served. So I'm trying to connect, why are kids always picking chicken nuggets? Oh, they must have superior texture, protein, and seasoning, and those must be my vocab words. Okay. Now that you've walked through with me those two examples, and you have this recorded in your notes, the next activity that you'll likely do is I'm going to make you practice doing some CERs. So that's going to come either in the form of doing some practice in person or on a Zoom call with your classmates or doing individual practice. So stay tuned in Schoology to see what your next assignment is. But you are done for today. High five.